Hey guys, just wanted to say before we get the episode started that this is the first episode that I actually recorded video for, so this one will be up on YouTube. I'll also be putting the rest of the episodes up on YouTube, just the audio versions of them, but this one will be full video, so please check that out on YouTube. Follow the YouTube channel, Too Stupid with Jer, and enjoy the episode, guys. Oh, also follow me on Instagram at JerDrinksCoffee. Enjoy. Too stupid with Jer. Too stupid with Jer. Today we're joined with a special guest. Maybe the best, but he's definitely the first. His name is Erik Kalwicki, and he's a bass player for the band Tidal, Daze and the Resilient. We've known each other for quite a while, so we'll talk about the past and the present and the future probably. We'll see on Too Stupid with Jer. All right, what the hell is up, guys?
It was nice. I
Yeah.
like that.
Introducing Erik Kalwicki, like I said in the song, bass player of Tidal Daze and The Resilient, and we played in a band called Squatch together. You played in Breaking Solace. You've played in every band, basically.
That's quite a few,
Yeah, there's
for
like
sure.
4 out of the 10 bands that exist in the world.
Yeah, soon there'll
So,
be 11. So
yeah, there you go. Just waiting for some of those young guns to come out and start the next band.
yeah, right.
Add to the very undersaturated music industry.
Yeah, very, very undersaturated.
Yeah, it's crazy because being musicians, we make so much money because there's like a really big market and not enough bands in it. So
Yeah, I can't even tell you how much I make because I really don't make anything.
I've gotten a decent amount of exposure. Like if you were to look at my net worth as far as exposure goes, I'm pretty rich. I've had a lot of exposure over the years.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the projects I've been in, I'm always in the background, So like if you look up pictures, you'll see me somewhere in the background in the photo
Yeah.
somewhere.
Well, there was that great profile. Your best profile photo of all time was when you it was just it was your legs just jumping off of the amp
Oh
or
yeah.
off of the speaker cab. That was a good one. That was like
Uh,
definition of just being in the background. It was just your legs.
Yeah, I mean that's how most people recognize me these days. So I mean,
That's good. Yeah. They go, I've seen those legs before.
yeah, those feet
I
look
think
familiar.
I think the upper half of those legs plays bass.
Hard to tell, but it's a good guess.
Yeah. So what have you been up to? You've been going around the world in the Resilient, huh?
Yeah, the world of the United States.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we go and play pretty much everywhere around the United States. We'll do. We actually just started a nonprofit called the Reborn Project, which
Dope.
I won't really dig into too much, but essentially the idea is to start a nonprofit to because the Resilient it's a big billboard. You know,
Mm-hmm.
our drummer's a triple amputee. Like whenever people see us play, they're like, "What the fuck?" This is amazing. So our whole idea was to be able to find small nonprofits, still be like their message, and use our donations to go and promote those nonprofits that we want to follow and support and make them grow. So I
Yeah.
mean that's part of what I've been up to too,
No,
getting
that's
that
pretty
going.
sweet.
But yeah, we just been playing around. I think we're gonna be in Columbus, Ohio, end of August, and then
Nice.
back in Columbus in September, and then who knows from there?
It's a
I
good
don't got
spot.
my schedule in front of me.
You could check out that sushi restaurant we went to in Columbus and wait like 9 hours for your sushi to come out while everybody else eats.
Oh yeah,
Like
that
when
was
you
nothing
and you
beats
and
sushi in Ohio, you know.
yeah, you and Colin just enjoying your like stir fry, and I'm just sitting there like, where's my sushi, man? Like they only seat like 10 people in here. We're like, how long can it take to just make some like I think I got like California rolls.
Yeah, they had to drive to go get that fish, man.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they had to go catch it. They had to go catch crabs.
They weren't expecting anybody to order sushi.
Dude, yeah. Columbus though, yeah, that's all I think that's all I remember from being in Columbus. I think we went into that weird bookstore for a minute too, and then like it just felt a little too hipster, and we were like, we gotta get out of here.
It's
All
too
of the
much.
books were like handmade in someone's house. They printed them out and just stapled them together.
The vibe's too real in there. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we made Colin drive all the way back while you and I slept in the car.
Yeah. Like, you sure you don't want to drive? He's like, no.
Yeah, he
No.
just, dude, he had a whole. I think he drank an entire case of Red Bull to get us home
Yeah,
that
he
night.
did. He totally
He was
did.
cruising, dude. I just remember like waking up a couple times because I definitely felt the car like start to go off the road and him wake up at the same time I'm waking up, and I'm like, "You good to drive, dude?" And he's like, "I think so. Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm great. I'm fine.
Yeah,
I'm awake."
I'm awake now.
Like, dude, I just opened my eyes and we were not on the road.
I don't know how he did it either, because like I'll drink one Red Bull and I'll have to piss 4 times within the next hour.
Yeah, yeah,
Whole
that's
case
fair.
of them.
Yeah, he was stemmed up that night.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we pretty much, so the last tour we went on with Wasted Space, we were on tour with this band Pal Hell, and we all shared a van. And I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure Colin and the bass player of Pal Hell, Charles, would just switch on and off on who was driving each night because the rest of us would drink too much. And
fair.
Colin wasn't stoked about it. Like Colin afterwards was like, I never want to go on tour again. Like, and we told him he could loosen up, but he just wouldn't do it because he was like, no, because I know if I get drunk, no one else can drive. And we were like, that's fair.
Yeah.
But if we have some heads up, I can take a night off if I have some heads up. But if no one says don't get drunk, then I'm just gonna do it. I have to have that don't.
We need a drinking schedule when you're on tour.
Right? Yeah.
That's what we did in Breaking Solace. Because we'd be out every show we played. Somebody had to drive to the next spot.
Yeah.
From state to state. So we had a drinking schedule.
Yeah, that works. Yeah, it really. Yeah, like this. You're like not even like a drinking schedule, but like a DD schedule of like tonight's your night to drive. Like drink some water, get some sleep. Like.
Yeah, pretty much. You get to the venue and it's like take a nap, get ready for tonight.
Right, dude. We had some.
All night.
I think the best part about tour is like, obviously the worst part's the driving, but I think the best part is like those weird in-between moments from when you leave the venue after drinking all night to the next hotel is where you meet all of the crazy characters and shit on the road. Because like anybody that's at a truck stop between the hours of like midnight and 3 a.m. isn't a normal person.
No, but they're usually pretty interesting people.
Yeah. Well, we found out on tour that we call her Lil Wayne, but we found out Lil Wayne lives in Youngstown, Ohio, and hangs out at a Motel 6 or a Super 8. I can't remember which one it was, but we got there and Charles, the bass player of Pal Hell's like inside checking us in, and we're all just like sitting at the car, and this woman that looked a lot like Lil Wayne, under the influence, came up, tried to solicit us for some services, in which we declined. And
wait, so she wanted services from you guys, or
no,
she wanted you
I
guys
guess she was trying to solicit her own services.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, she was working
another way.
Yeah, no, yeah, she came over. She was like the street team promoting her crew, and she was like she was like, you guys want to hang out, have a good time? We're like, no, we're good. And then she tried to hug Wyatt, the drummer of Pale Hell, in which she started sucking on his neck. And
Nice.
and this is where Lil Wayne came from. He pushed her off and said, "Get the fuck off me, Lil Wayne." And then she came over to me reaching for my junk, and I slapped her hand and I went, "No, thank you." And then she walked over to Colin, and you know Colin. So Colin's the drummer of Wasted Space, also played drums in Squatch. We probably didn't establish that earlier, but now now you can look back at what we talked about earlier and go, "Oh, that makes sense." But he straight up shoved her and was like, "Don't fucking touch me." And then Matt, the singer of Wasted Space, being the genius he is, sees a truck pulling away and just goes, "Yo, look, your friends, they're leaving. Go follow your friends." And she just like hobbled away. She just like ran after them.
Just a lot lizard, man.
Yeah, dude.
Chasing her
Lot
prey.
lizards are real.
Yeah.
I didn't think I would like find one that way though. I didn't, I always assume you're gonna find one at a truck stop, but no, we got Lil Wayne out in Youngstown, Ohio. Shout out.
Well, I mean, motels are pretty classy establishments, but you usually
Right.
find one or two there on
Dude,
occasion.
I'm pretty sure that was like our legit first night on tour, and we had that experience followed by waking up in that same hotel room the next day and the floor was wet
Nice.
from just like moisture, like whatever it was, dude. Like legit soaking wet to the point where you could like slip and slide on it. It was just like, and like we were all sick. We all just like woke up sick, covered in mildew, basically. Like the worst fucking hotel in the world. That's how we started that tour. So it was just, but I mean, I'm sure you.
Good deal though.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it was a good deal for shoving 9 dudes in one hotel room. Like, you can't get a better deal than that,
But
It was always
that's all
funny.
Part of the fun.
Right. Well, that's the fun part, is leaving the next morning and watching the hotel maids see 9 dudes come out of one room with like 2 beds in it and be like, "What the fuck is that?"
Yeah, what was going on last night?
It's just a party, just the boys hanging out, dude.
Just hanging out.
Yeah. No girls allowed. That's why Lil Wayne wasn't allowed to come with us, dude. It's a no girls allowed party.
Yeah.
But you tour quite a bit, so I'm sure you have some fun stories. I know with the Resilient, you guys get put up in some pretty nice places though. That Airbnb you guys were posting pictures of.
Oh yeah.
It was like wasn't it like a beach house or something?
Yeah, if it's the one I'm thinking about, it was the one in Alabama. It's like it's like 40 minutes from Florida border. But It was
Okay.
in Alabama. They'll come to me where it was. But yeah, it was like a multi-million-dollar beach house. It was
Yeah.
like a 4-story house, I believe. There's like probably 6 to 7 bedrooms on 3 of the floors, and then the one
Wow.
whole floor was just like a kitchen and like living room, and it was
That's
just
crazy.
us, and
Yeah.
it's like right on the beach. It's like this is nuts.
It looked like from the pictures, because I think I saw someone posted a picture of like you guys loading into it from like the top floor, and I'm like, is this a castle? Like, dude, it looked
pretty much.
It looked big enough that if I were there, I'd get lost. Like, I'd be like on a floor and just be like, I have no idea where the staircase is or how to get out of here. Like, I'm just up here forever now.
No, that happened a lot, because there's that house, and then before that, I told you about that. We signed with A Hero Records, and then things didn't go too well, so we kind of split ways.
Well, I didn't hear that you didn't. I didn't hear the part where things didn't go well.
Yeah, I mean, we really didn't say a lot about it, and aren't really allowed to talk that much about it, like legally.
Right.
But yeah, things didn't go well. But we signed with them. We showed up to do one event with them, which didn't go very well. But the moral of the story, conclusion of it, is they had another house like that. It was a 4 or 5-story house on the beach with probably about 10 rooms per floor. Very bottom floor was like the kitchen, living room, everything like that. But yeah, dude, you would walk through there, and my room was on like the very top floor in the middle of like the house. So every time I go to bed, like it was like rose red. You'd start going down one hallway and you get lost, turn the wrong corner, before you know it, you're on the other side of the house. You can't figure out how to get back. So probably the first 3 days I was there, like every time I went up to my room, it took me a good 15, 20 minutes to figure out where it was.
Nice. Yeah.
It's like a maze.
I can't imagine too if you partied a little bit, you'd be like, I'll figure it out. I'll just go lay on a couch somewhere.
Yeah, like being a little buzzed. Like, oh yeah, this looks familiar, but every single room, every single hallway looks the same.
It's like Willy Wonka when they go in that one room and it gets smaller the further they get in. They start getting all claustrophobic. You're like, where am I?
Yeah,
you open up a small door and it just takes you into a giant room full of like grass that's edible and shit. You're like, I don't think I went in the right room.
That's what I was saying. It felt like Rose Red, you know.
Yeah.
You ever see that by Stephen King? The books, and he made like a mini series in like the late 90s, I think.
I don't think I've ever read or seen that, which is surprising because I'm pretty familiar with a lot of the Stephen King stuff.
That was my favorite Stephen King. I didn't read the book. I watched the miniseries, but that was like one of my all-time favorite miniseries because it's about this haunted mansion that a group of like, paranormal investigators, they go to, you know, explore it and do whatever, but the house just fucks them up, you know. And it's just a really cool messed up movie where like every room they go into, the room behind them changes, you know. So it's just this evolving.
Is there a scene in that one where like they're like looking down a hallway and the wall at the end of the hallway keeps getting close, like moving towards them, and the room or the hallway is getting shorter?
Yeah.
Okay, I have seen parts of it then, or at least I have like a weird like memory of seeing it when I was young at some point.
No, it's I definitely recommend watching it, but I mean it's one of those miniseries that it's like you got to buckle up for because it's like a 4 or 5 part series, and each part is like 3 hours, I think.
Yeah.
Like
it seems like I probably watched it on like the Sci-Fi Channel growing up or something.
Oh yeah.
Because Sci-Fi always had all the Stephen King stuff. I feel like they would do like an entire like month of just Stephen King movies and shows. But yeah, dude, how what was I gonna say? The fucking lost it. I love well, here's a thought. I'll just jump to this. Because I've been like, anytime I talk to people, you know, a lot of people ask me like what the worst show I've ever played is. And I mean, that one we did at Evening Star in Niagara Falls was pretty bad. Like that was the worst one we ever did where I was like mad. Like where I was like, I'm like pissed off and I just want to go home. But,
was that the one with the dude with the lipstick that kept trying to blow me? Was that show?
No, that was at Stamps. That was sick too. That was a good show. That one was fun. But no, the one that wrote "fuck Donald Trump" on his stomach with lipstick, and I was trying to give you a blowjob in the bathroom. That dude, for being in a punk band, like that was as punk as he could be. He was nearly at Gigi Allen status of punk that night. He was going for it. I just remember seeing like a bouncer carrying, like cradling him and carrying him out, and he was like passed out. Like, dude just partied so hard.
Yeah, he went pretty hard for sure.
Dude, I remember the one that sticks out to me is when we played Sugar City and we opened for all those emo bands. What do you got there? You got a chooch or you got a nicotine pouch?
It's a little nicotine cheech.
Yeah, I
don't want to show any brands.
Yeah, but, careful. We're not sponsored by them, but we support it. No, I've gotten into and they're not a sponsor. I'm just saying I like the brand Zyn. I like the Zyn pouches.
I've tried those, and
the peppermint one's good. It's the only one that's got like a good flavor to it where you can actually notice it. The rest of them kind of just like taste like nicotine.
Yeah. See, I mean, I'm usually a mint guy. You know, I do the on nicotine pouches because they're way cheaper where I live. You know, so you can buy like 2 of them for $4 versus, you know, $7 for a Zyn or whatever.
That's funny because I think Zyns are only like $4 or $5 here. The on ones are the same thing, like $4 or $5 here. Because I don't think they get taxed the same way that tobacco does out here because there's no tobacco in it. So I think there's kind of a loophole where they don't have to tax it as hard. So there's just normal New York State sales tax on it because if there was like regular New York State tobacco tax, it would be like $20 for one pack.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty crazy too, because I don't know if it's any different there, but I remember the last time I was up there with like all the vapes and stuff like that,
Yeah.
how New York kind of got rid of all the flavors and everything like that. Anything fun that had to do with them.
So the nicotine pouches still have flavor. The vape pens have pretty much been eradicated. Like even those popular ones now, like those Elf bars and stuff like that, you can't find out here. Like all the stores that sold them had to get rid of them, or they'll just like sell them with like a different brand name on them and stuff. Like it's all weird now. Not to mention those Elf bars, I think they got sued for their name. So they have like, they're not like sending anything out right now. There's like some copyright issues with it. So
Who sued them? Like Mordor or
yeah, maybe, dude. Fucking was it
Frodo Baggins?
no, where do they live? It's like Rivendell. Right?
Yeah,
Is
Shire?
where the elves live? Is Rivendell or something?
I think that's Rivendell.
They called up, they're like, cease and desist.
Yeah.
We already sell those nicotine pouches here. Or those
We're
nicotine.
copyrighted.
We have those e-cigs out here already. We invented them. Elf bars, dude.
Sold by real elves.
Yeah. That's why Legolas lives so long, dude. He's stemmed up on fucking nicotine.
Yeah, it just keeps you sharp, man. Sharp as an arrow.
Yeah, there you go. No, the back to this, we got so sidetracked, but my favorite worst show we ever played was when we played at Sugar City and we opened up for all those emo bands. And like after every song we played, just no one clapped. Like there was just no like level of like support at all. Like they were like just did not get it at all.
Yeah.
And like I think that's what made it fun. Like because it was just like we opened, so it wasn't like the worst thing in the world. It's not like we had to wait through like 9 bands that sucked to get to that point. Like we were the first band and they just did not like us at all. And it was funny. Like it was just fun to be on stage and have people not like us at all. Like 0% of the people in that room were into us.
Well, we had that a lot. You know, it took a while for people to like catch on with what we were doing. Like my favorite worst show was, I think it was one of our like earlier shows. This might be the one show you're talking about, but where we wore like prom dresses or something like that.
No, that was at the music room in East Aurora, or no, did we? No.
There's a different one.
Yeah, I don't know where we played when we wore the prom dresses.
I want to say that was like the Evening Star or something.
Probably,
like that.
Yeah. I know we did the aerobics gear the one time, and I didn't realize my chest was out the entire time.
Yeah, I thought you planned that because your nipples were just out the whole time, and I was like, dude, that's awesome. That's funny.
I literally like ran off stage to grab something, came back, and didn't realize my tits were just out the entire set.
Yeah, I thought you did that on purpose. I was like, dude, that's a good addition. You know?
Nice wardrobe malfunction.
And I was like, dude, that was sick. I like how you did that. And you're like, dude, what?
Yeah, didn't even notice. Dude, fucking, that was a good one. I think that was the same one we did that Battle of the Bands for like Sumerian Records or whatever, and that guy pulled us outside to talk to us, and he was just like, dude, your guitar tone fucking sucks. And I was like, well, I'm playing through a Line 6 Spider, thanks. Like,
yeah, they didn't get us. That's my favorite worst show, just because of that. I remember like people were like, what the fuck is going on? Because there's like a bunch of like hardcore bands and like,
yeah,
you know, I don't know what the right word for it is, but just like those shitty.
Yeah, kind of like cookie cutter metalcore and like beat down and just like, yeah. And the funny thing was that like when we started Squatch, I think we only played one show, and it was the basement show. Today's like the anniversary. It happened like 7 years ago. Was when we played at the Lair. That was our first show.
One of my favorite shows.
That was one of our best. It was our like a great first show, and it was like the only show where we didn't have a gimmick and we dressed normal. And then like second show, we're just like showing up wearing prom dresses. We did the one show where we wore short shorts and like grandma sweaters. Like it was just like from then on, like we would show up to these like hardcore shows and just fucking be the biggest goofballs in the world, and no one got it.
My favorite one was still probably do you remember the electric saxophone kazoo or whatever?
Yeah.
You know, where I played that and you talked like it was like an NPR podcast or something like that.
No, you're mixing them up. So we did the saxophone one when we opened up for Galactic Empire, and my string broke like 3 songs in, and I didn't have a backup guitar, and I got pissed off and broke the saxophone over my knee. It's like fucking, it was like probably like this big of a saxophone, and it was a kazoo, and I was just like, I would just in between songs rip it, and my string broke. We all got pissed off at each other, and I just broke it over my knee, and we got off stage.
There was one though, like before, it must have been before that, where because I remember at one show I was playing it, and it'd be like every time you talked, like after you talked, I would play it a little bit.
Yeah. Well, we did I think the best one we ever did was when I spoke in a fake language.
Yeah.
After every set, when we had a whole group of people that would like, hey, and like clap every time I said something. And then fucking after the show, like 2 people came up to me, they're like, me and my daughter we were just discussing like everything you guys were doing, and like, what language were you speaking? Was it Spanish or French? I was just like, it was nothing. Like, I'd literally get up there and be like, Scamanu, Shabarigada, Shubarajeno, Kareswana. And like everybody would be like, yay! Yeah, there was that, and then there was the show where I just ate spaghetti in between songs, and I'd just be like, give me 1 sec. That was a good one. Yeah, we had a ton. We did the Surfer Rock. We did the NPR where we would was it the More You Know, or what segment was it?
I don't even remember.
Consider the following, or what?
Yeah,
I can't remember.
I think it was
Or
that.
I'd be like, my name is Pernapis Williams. The Iraq War has escalated. Like, just like say random shit like that and be like, consider the following, NPR. Like, we did the hockey speak. That was good. Like when hockey players after games are like, we got a great group of guys out there, and we're just, we just got to get the puck on net. And people would just like stare at us like, what the fuck are you talking about?
But they finally got on, like people started just because that was like, I think our main idea behind those shows is just to leave people being like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah, right.
That was a good show.
None of our songs ever sounded like they were supposed to end where they ended. Like, yeah, no, it was good. It took us like 4 years. It took 4 years for people to like see us and be like, oh, that's what they do. I get it now. Like, but dude, yeah, it was it was a fun time. We kind of do that. We kind of do that now with Wasted Space. We don't do like the crazy gimmicks or anything, but like we just like party. That's it. I haven't had a raw hot dog thrown across the stage at me in a while though. That was pretty fun. That was probably our best gimmick. I think that was our last show. Was we did the raw hot dog tosses on stage, and then we had the gluten-free corn dogs.
Yeah, we had the George Foreman fired up at the merch table with the Super Nintendo. Was it like NHL 94?
Just cooking up. We literally, for those of you who don't know what a gluten-free corn dog is, it's just a grilled hot dog on a stick. And we were selling them for $1, and they were flying. They were flying off the shelves.
I remember, I forget the name of the dude, but the promoter that put that show on, I remember I was at the merch table, and he came up to me holding like 2 big fucking glasses of beer. He just staring me down, because like we weren't supposed to be doing that in an indoor venue, And he's just staring at me, and I'm like, you want one? He just shakes his head, and he's like, yeah. Gave him a couple, and he walked away.
That was Corey Coleman from Chernobyl Agency. Yeah, he's a good dude. He let us, for legal purposes, he definitely did not allow us to have gluten-free corn dogs cooked at our merch stand in a bar.
We did what we wanted.
But we just did what we wanted, and he ate one, but that doesn't mean he condoned what we were doing. He just ate one. But yeah, that was good. That was a great show, man. That was fun. We played with our homies in Inertia. I don't really remember who else played that show.
It was wasn't Ishkabibble there?
No, it was Short Attention Span Theater.
Yeah, that's who it
Gus's
was.
other band, yeah. Yeah, that was a cool. They're a really cool band too. And then I think that I don't know if they're still together, but that Dilettante band opened it.
Well, doesn't Gus? Does he still play with Inertia?
Yeah, he does. And last time I talked to him, he was saying Ishkabibble's got some like new. They've been working on new stuff for years, but you know, playing that type of music, it's like
Yeah, it's a very
it takes a year to write one song.
Well, it's very obscure too. You know, it's definitely the anti-pop, anti-mainstream.
Yeah. We gotta figure out a way to do like a reunion squatch show, but also have Ishkabibble on it. I think that'd be super fun.
It'd be cool to, I don't even know if all the bands are still together, but do like a reunion and have everybody from that basement show.
Yeah, that would be cool. I don't think Matter of Planets is together anymore, but we might be able to get them to come together for a reunion.
Right? Double reunion.
Yeah, Divinex is still around. We actually we were supposed to play a show with them when we were on tour, and they had to drop for some reason. But
Did they ever add a bass player?
Divinex, I think so.
That's good.
Because I thought, did they not have a bass player when we played with them at Rocking Buffalo?
I don't think so. I thought it was just 2 guitar players and a drummer.
It might have been. They might have still had that going on. Dude, that was, talk about one of the worst shows we ever played, Rockin' Buffalo. And that wasn't even like worst show based on crowd or because of us. That was just the worst sound guy I've ever worked with.
Yeah, I've never played a good Rockin' Buffalo show.
No. I just remember when we walked in, he was just like, God, it's so good that this is going to be like a prog rock band, none of that bullshit death metal. And we were like, all right. Yeah, we don't have any heavy parts in our songs. And then that dude hated me because this wasn't even Line 6 Spider Days. I had a good tone at the time. I was playing through the orange, but it was like very high gain. And the dude was like, can you turn your gain down a little bit? And I was like, no. He was like, all right, well, if you want your guitar to sound like shit. And I was like, sure. And then he told Colin, he was like, you got to stop hitting the snare so hard. And Colin was like, no.
Yeah, he's like, can you turn down the snare drum a little bit? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and then Colin just continued. He turned off Colin's mic, and Colin just started wailing on his snare.
Well, that dude didn't get, like, we were like a noise metal band. You
Yeah.
know, like that's half our sound is just making weird noises. You know.
I remember like literally like right after the first song, you and I just looked at each other and cranked our volume knobs up. Like, fuck this guy. Dude was such a dick. Like, yeah, I've talked to other people. They've played there and they've had him as a sound guy and they fucking hate him.
Yeah.
But I just knew the second we walked in, he was like, thank God you guys aren't playing any of that death metal bullshit. You're like, oh, dude, you're in for a really rude awakening.
You're in for a treat.
You're going to fucking hate us. But yeah, dude, what's going on with Tidal Daze? You guys are, I feel bad. I haven't checked out like any of the music aside from like videos I've seen on Instagram, but you guys are kind of like shoegaze-ish, right?
Borderline. It's so it's a group. We have a chick singer, and it's kind of like an indie alternative kind of music. But
okay.
A lot of people kind of compare us to like old school, like Blondie in a way.
Okay.
A little more like beach vibe. But yeah, we started playing out. So it's been probably a year and a half, almost 2 years at this point. I've been playing with them. You know, and I found them. They put out an ad on Craigslist, you know, looking for a bass player. And at the time, like, Resilient wasn't doing too much. I was just kind of hanging out. So I was like, well, wouldn't mind finding some people to play with around here.
Yeah.
You know, I met them, and like Trevor, the drummer, like he's on Colin's level, where he's just like one of the most incredible drummers I've ever met. You know, it's just fun as hell to play with him. You know, and
yeah.
then the guitar player too. It's his first band he's ever been in, Tyler, and he's fucking amazing. Like, his favorite guitarist is like John Frusciante, you know, from the Chili Peppers, and like his style, you know, he kind of plays like a mix between like Red Hot Chili Peppers and like Jimi Hendrix, which is wild.
Cool.
But
so he plays like he's on drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just wild, dude, and he doesn't really know that much about music theory or anything like that. Like, he just has that natural like talent to play,
Right.
you know, like, I mean, you know me, you know, I showed up and like, he doesn't have to tell me what to play, you know, I can just hear and see and I can play right to him.
Right.
And it's been fun. But yeah, we started playing together and then gradually, like, they already had an album out. So I learned that. And then we started writing new music. But, you know, in the last probably 5, 6 months, we started like breaking into the indie alternative scene here in Jacksonville, Florida, which is actually pretty cool. There's a lot of really, really cool, good bands around here.
Yeah. No, I bet. I feel like Florida's always had like just the state in general's always had like a good, like, just like each city of Florida has like their own pocket of like a certain kind of genre, if that makes sense, you know? Like Orlando's always been kind of like the death metal scene out there, and then like, you know, towards like Tampa, I feel like it's like more like just like partying and fuck I don't know what you'd call it, you know? Like,
Spring break.
yeah, spring bake music, you know? Fucking Miami's just EDM and fucking dudes in Lamborghinis doing cocaine.
Yeah, lots of cocaine.
Yeah. No, but like everybody, yeah, I feel like there's like a good like mix of I feel like Florida is just a good spot for music, you know, and I wish like I you know, I don't want to talk down on Buffalo. I think Buffalo's fine for music, but I just don't think it's a big enough city for it to be like as big as other cities are with music.
For sure. But I mean, like, it's cool to go to different cities and live in different places. And like, once you finally figure out like what the kind of scene is there, it's pretty interesting. Like, I always thought Buffalo had a really big like metal and punk hardcore kind of scene. It was really
Yeah.
good, you know, and that's not really like that in Jacksonville. Like the
Right.
indie scene. Like we play at this one place called the Walrus a lot, and it's like this
Yeah.
vegan cafe with like arcade machines and all kinds of stuff. But every time we play there, we'll play with like 4 or 5 different bands we've never heard of, and like they're fucking incredible. It's just like wow, you
Well,
know?
like I was gonna say like the funny thing is though too is like I feel like once you're in a scene in a city, you don't realize there's other scenes in that same city. Because like I'll talk to people who don't play metal in Buffalo and they'll be like, "Oh, dude, like the indie rock scene's like incredible out here." And I'm like, I wouldn't even know. You know what I mean? Like, cause I don't go to those shows. I don't see those flyers. I don't know those people. So it's weird when you like find out that your city has other shit going on that you just like didn't know about, you know? Like there's like different clubs for different types of bands and stuff. And like, usually it's like much more, versatile than you would think.
Yeah, I mean it's always cool too when like you find where you fit in, you know,
Yeah.
like with the Tidal days, we started playing out, you know, just playing any show we could get. And then, you know, before we know it, every show we're doing, you know, like people are like, holy crap, you guys are awesome. You know, like let's do this together. And like one
Yeah.
of the coolest shows we played recently was at Kona Skate Park, which is
Yeah.
like a legendary skate park here in Florida. And you know, we played there and the owner of it was like, holy shit, like you guys are amazing, like let's get you guys on our, you know, our Saturday, you know, Friday Saturday night roster, you know. And the coolest part about this show was I haven't skateboarded in like maybe a year or two, you
Yeah.
know. And they gave us free passes to go out and shred. And
That's pretty dope.
after we played, we just went out and skated for like hours, you know. And I worked my way up to, you know, dropping into like a little half pipe again. And from there, I was like, all right, I got
That
this.
was I started, so everybody that's listening to this is about to find out that I'm a rollerblader. Cat's out of the bag. I'll catch some slack from it from some of the skateboarders that listen to this. If there are any, there's only like 20 people listening to this ever, but um so during COVID I started rollerblading again and like had to like relearn how to drop in, had to relearn how to do grinds, like all of it, right? And all it took, and there's a video of this on the Wasted Space Instagram. If you go to there should be like a highlighted Instagram story, but it took me like 1 year of rollerblading again to like just like miss a grind, slip, fall, hit my head, and fucking knock myself clean out. And I was just
Yeah,
like, I think I'm done skating for a while again. You know, this is pretty dangerous, and I'm like an adult and I have a job. I can't give myself a brain injury at this age.
well, it hurts a lot more now that we're getting older. Like it
Dude,
hurts. That's why I stopped skateboarding because it was like,
that's
dude, I
like every time I've gone out, I'll go to hit a grind. If I slip out and like hit my arm, I'm like, I'm going home. This sucks. I hate skating. Like,
Yeah, the last time, like I was saying, like it was a year or two before I skateboarded, or the last time I skateboarded, and that was because I dropped in and just biffed it. I
yeah,
was like, I'm done.
yeah, this sucks. I hate this. It hurts. I don't want to do this anymore. That's what happens. You get old and you find out you can just have fun like watching YouTube and like smoking a joint. And then you go to like, you're like, oh man, I need something a little more exhilarating. And you like drop in once and fall and you're like, I'm going to go home and just like watch TV, I think.
Yeah. Be sore for a week.
Like, you know, I am going to go on YouTube and just watch other people do this. That seems fun.
Yeah. No, it hurts, man. Not as resilient as I used to be.
Yeah. Boom. You're not the resilient. But yeah, dude, no, it's cool. I gotta check out more. Tidal Daze has stuff on Spotify, right?
Yeah, Spotify and YouTube and the Instagram, Facebook, all that bullshit.
Cool. Yeah, I definitely gotta check it out. I know I tagged Tidal Daze in like my Instagram post, so all that shit. You know, I'll get like I'll probably clip something from this for you so you can give it to them and let, I don't know who runs the social media, but they can post about it and stuff, and you know, post that you were saying nice things about them. It'd be funny if you had actually just been like, dude, I fucking hate this band.
These guys are terrible. No, they've introduced me into like, because I mean, you know my musical taste. You know, I've always been into like punk and ska and metal, and I listen to a lot of everything, but a lot of the stuff they listen to is like more pop music and stuff like that. So they kind of turned me on to like some of that. Like we just did a cover of what is it, Harry Styles.
Oh yeah, what song?
That song, As It Was.
I haven't heard that one. I only know one song by Harry Styles.
It's like a really, really popular one, but I never heard it before until they were like, oh, let's do this as a cover and post it online. And I was like, okay, you know, so I listened to it. I'm like, all right, this song's actually kind of cool. You know, it has a lot of like elements of like that old school, like synth, you know, new wave kind of music. He's
got a really cool Tiny Desk concert out there where it's all acoustic and stuff. Yeah, it's pretty good. He's actually a pretty talented singer, and just like I like the songs he writes. Like I like them stripped down like how it is on Tiny Desk. It's like a little cooler to see like some like actual I don't want to say actual musicians because he might have actual musicians on tour with him, but like just to see it broken down to just like guitar, piano, and like drums or whatever, and bass, like just to see it like stripped down to like a more like normal band setting as aside to like his like stadium tour band, you know?
Yeah, like I like the NPR Tiny Desk concerts just because like a lot of the stuff isn't as like poppy and it's like more like broken down, and I like that a lot more.
The second they add a real drummer into the mix, you're like, oh, this is actually pretty good.
Yeah,
that's mostly what it is. You know what I mean? Like it's mostly just like they're like, we're gonna have a real drummer play the beats we made. You know, like it immediately sounds better. But yeah, dude. But yeah, so you got Tidal Daze going on, you got the Resilient going on. It's funny because you were saying you found Tidal Daze on like a Craigslist ad, and I'm just imagining how nice it must be for like a band to get like an email from a bass player. Like it was probably just you. There probably wasn't much of like a fight for it. Like they're just like, thank God someone applied, dude.
Well, I mean, like I've done like a lot of stuff like that where I met people, you know, off like different online sites, you know, looking for like musicians, and it's always a very awkward experience.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But I mean, that one, it wasn't too bad. I mean, it was like awkward, but you know, like because they already had an album out, so they're like, oh well, here's this album, you know, and I just kind of listened to it and like learned and kind of made my own bass lines to that album.
Yeah.
And showed up and they're like, oh, you're pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you guys are pretty good too. Yeah. You want to do this again? Yeah, sure. Why not?
Right. Yeah. It's like a date. It's literally like a date. Like, hey, you're pretty cool. You want to do you want to like get together again sometime?
Yeah, pretty much.
Dude, it's like because I've tried like starting side projects and stuff, and it's like with side projects I don't necessarily want to play guitar, you know, I want to either like sing or play keyboard or whatever, and every time it seems like I run into people that are like, all right, we've got a drummer and a guitar player, we just can't find a bass player, and I'm like, I don't know how to help you. I know two of them. Like, I know two bass players in the entire world, dude, and they're both in bands. Like,
Yeah.
but that's how it goes, dude. Like, bass players and drummers are like next to impossible to find. It's just which is funny because it's like, it's very clearly that it's like people want. I think people are more drawn to like guitar or singing because like they think it like makes them cooler. But I can tell you, for everybody listening to this, you know, when it comes out, I'll tell you right now, playing guitar doesn't make you cooler. It makes you just as lame as all other musicians. Like, there's no cool, like, singers are the only ones that really get the attention. Because, like, they're at the forefront. They do all the talking and stuff. So, like, people really gravitate towards it. If you play an instrument at all, no one cares. So just play drums and play bass so that the rest of us can, like, find you, you know?
Yeah, I think my advice is, you know, just try to be the best looking one in the band. That's what you're going for.
That too, yeah. Yeah. Well, that's like,
yeah,
you know, that or you got to look like me and you just got to take your shirt off and go crazy. I don't know. You're either the loudest or you're the best looking. Pick one.
That's too, like, it's easy to find like bad bass players or bad drummers or, you know, bad guitar players or really just bad musicians, you know. But it's hard, like, to find really good people that are committed, that want to try to make like a career out of playing music, or want to
Yeah.
actually, not even that, but just take it seriously. Yeah.
Well, and I'll
That's
tell you
been the
what.
hardest part.
I'll tell you what. It's really it's really hard to find a bass player. Really hard to find a bass player that just like will play the root notes and like play to the drums. If you find a good one, he's gonna want to play lead.
Yeah.
In my experience, the second you find a good one, he's gonna go check this out and just start playing slap riffs.
Yeah. Here's a new melody.
Yeah. Do you think you could play something under this and just bounce down, down, down?
Yeah, it's kind of my style.
Yeah, same with drummers. You find a good drummer, he's gonna be like, "No, I'm playing this," and you're gonna be like, "All right, that's fine."
Sounds cool.
Cool. I think you could groove this part out. Nah, no, I don't think I will.
That's, I mean, with like the Brazilian stuff, like I've learned how to lay back songs quite a bit.
Right.
You know?
Just listen to the kick.
Yeah, like more, instead of playing like melodies and like stuff that's cool, you know, just making the song sound good, you know, like being the glue that makes everything else sound good together, you know?
Right. No, dude, and well, that's like, you know, it was something. Like, I was listening to the newest Coheed and Cambria album, and the reason I've always liked Coheed and Cambria is because I really like the way the bass player would kind of like just like the bass player and the drummer played really tight with the kick.
Mm.
Like, they would just basically play the same thing, like dun 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 dun, like, you know, kind of like stuff like that. On the newest album, the bass player branched out a little bit, and I was like, this dude, like, he's one of the newer bass players and newer members of the band. And you can tell he like finally was like, guys, I've been in the band for like 3 years. Let me rip a little bit. Like, let me just rip a little bit. Like, let me go off the track just a little bit. And I like that.
Happens.
Yeah, he did it at the right time. You know, you just got to do it at the right time. And that was something fun with Squatch, was we always did it. Like, you would have like your parts where you were like the main focus and you were playing the leads, but then like when we broke it down, it was like we were just like all in the pocket.
Yeah, there's definitely a time and a place, you know, to get wild and crazy, but then Squatch was very rhythmic, you know, so.
Yeah. I would love to go back. We had a song called Pocket Full of Jebediah.
Yeah.
Which is like, anytime I think of the names that we came up with, I'm like, I don't even remember. Like, I remember where pastrami nipples came from because that was when we were working at Reds. and we were like just eating pastrami sandwiches every day, and we were like pastrami nipples. That's the song name. But Pocket Full of Jebediah, I have no idea why we named it that. But
No.
that was like a straight up just like jam song where like it was like a jazz song where we would just improvise our solo each time. Like we would each take turns playing a solo part. And now when I listen to it, I'm like, dude, I could do such cooler stuff over my parts. Like
Yeah,
that's the only song where I'd be like, let's go re-record it and each take like 2 more minutes longer to just write a solo.
that's one song that like whenever I would show it to people, they're like, "Oh, you guys like Primus, huh?"
Yeah, that was the most Primus song we had for sure. Like, it just sounded exactly like Primus.
It's very, very Primacy.
Yeah, I think I just.
Well, that was the last show I went to was when I was in Kansas City. We went and seen the Les Claypool Frog Brigade.
Oh yeah.
And that was really cool because it was Harry Waters. He was the one that got us tickets to it. But
Oh yeah.
Roger's son. So he's playing keyboards, and then Sean Lennon, John and Yoko's kid, he was playing guitar, and then Les Claypool. And it was just nuts. Like they were supposed to play with Fishbone, and that was like the one show Fishbone couldn't play, so they just played for like 3.5 hours straight. It was wild.
I mean, if they can do it, you know. So
they did it.
But it wasn't the Lennon Claypool Delirium. It was just Frog Brigade with John Lennon's son playing.
Yeah, and Harry
that's pretty
Waters.
Sweet. That's cool. That's like a weird case of like super group where it's not really a super group, but it's like one dude who's really famous playing with other famous dude's kids.
Yeah, it's like a generational super group.
School of Rock, dude. They went full School of Rock with it. Last was like, cool, I'll take you under my wing.
Yeah, I mean, him and Sean Lennon seem like pretty good buds.
They need to get Eddie Van Halen's son in there, fucking Wolfgang, dude.
Yeah, Wolfgang Van Halen.
Yeah, he's pretty good at guitar.
That'd be an interesting dynamic for sure.
Dude, be funny if he came out and just started doing Eruption solo, and they're like, "Yo, chill, dude."
Well, I mean, shit, they did. What was it? They did all of Echoes by Pink Floyd, that whole album.
Yeah.
They did a lot of like John Lennon stuff too.
That's cool.
It was cool because I feel like the Frog Brigade, that's like Les Claypool's like fun band. You know,
yeah.
They just do whatever they feel like doing. You know,
it's his equivalent to Mike Patton's Mr. Bungle.
Yeah.
Like, just like, this is like what I'm like. I started Primus to just fund this weird shit.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite stories about Mike Patton is that he literally joined Faith No More because he was like, I'm just gonna use the money I make from this to like produce Mr. Bungle records.
To do what I really want to do.
Yeah, right, yeah. And then he started like 90 other bands like Tomahawk and shit. Like
the Gas Mask and shit.
Yeah. That's one of like my favorite things is like I love watching Tomahawk and watching like the Gas Mask thing because I'm like, who even thinks like in their head they're like, I'm gonna create a microphone where it's a gas mask and you can't hear a word I'm saying, but it's like a really cool muffled sound.
I can't imagine wearing that and singing though. You know, just amount of like CO2 that builds up in your mask.
Well, yes, that's the funny part is because he'll do parts with the mask on and then like he has to take it off real quick and
can't
like
breathe.
Sing regular, dude. Dude's got to have cardio like a fucking track runner.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's wild, dude. Mike Patton, he's a dude. I argue all the time that Mike Patton. Holy shit, a little too much scotch in me right now. That Mike Patton might be the best frontman of all time.
I don't know. That's a hard hill to climb. You know,
I would argue that it's either Mike Patton or the singer of Living Color.
See, I mean, you know, my all-time favorite one is Geddy Lee, and that's just because that
right,
like his coordination is like he's a fucking alien, you know.
Dude, honestly, the older you get, the more you look like Geddy Lee. You're like,
that's what I'm going for.
Yeah, you're turning into him, dude. Ever since you bought that foot synth pedal, you've
Yeah,
just
the Roland PK9
yeah,
or
your
whatever
hair
it
started
is.
getting longer. Your
Well,
nose
so
has
I got
gotten
my dreads
pointier.
back.
Yeah.
Dreaded my hair again.
You look like you should be playing in like Cottonmouth Kings or something. Or Sublime with Rome, dude.
I get that,
Sublime with
like,
Erik.
I'll put on my glasses because I normally wear glasses, but whenever I do this, people are always like, "You look like Jonathan Davis."
Oh yeah, yeah. Adidas needs to sponsor you, dude.
Yeah, right. Give me some tracksuits.
I just saw an article where it was like Adidas finally putting out a corn line. And I'm like, dude, Jonathan Davis never gave up, dude. For like 30 years now, he's worn Adidas gear, and finally Adidas is like, all right, you're sponsored.
Yeah.
All right, finally after 30 years, we'll put out a fucking line of corn gear, you know? Dude worked his
That's
ass off for it.
yeah, that was a hard endorsement right there.
Yeah, dude, he had to get really famous. Like they were like, "You're all right, now you're finally famous enough. Now that you're like Rock and Roll Hall of Fame status, we'll get you hooked up, dude." He's been buying those Adidas sweatsuits full cash for the last 30 years.
Well, they've been tracking them too. They're like, "How much sweat are you putting through these tracksuits?" You know?
That's what he had to do. Yeah, I heard once that off the stage at corn shows, he has to take all of his Adidas gear off and he wrings it out, and there's like a sweat meter. He's just been clocking it in every day. Once you
Just
hit
a
a certain
couple.
point, you get free sweatsuits.
Yeah, there's just a couple 5-gallon buckets there on a scale.
Yeah. You get some anti sweatsuits. Adidas has it. They don't give it out to anybody, you know, you have to
Yeah,
earn it.
moisture wicking.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like those like the dry fit like Nike shorts, but it's just an entire suit of dry fit, dude. Like you just stand in front of a fan for a second and you just dry out completely.
That sounds nice. I could
It
use
does,
some of those.
yeah. Right, yeah, dude. We need Nike, if you're listening, we need some dry fit sweatsuits that
Tracksuits, full track.
yeah, full track suits that are dry fit and are grease resistant too.
Yeah.
Need some grease resistant, dude.
Kitchen certified.
You ever like, because you've worked in kitchens, you ever have like a shirt that gets so greasy that if water does splash on it, it just like bounces off?
Yeah.
It's got like water resistant protection from just fryer oil.
Well, now I went from like kitchen grease to like what I do now is I work for this landscape company, and like I used to have a nursery there and all kinds of stuff that I ran. But they're like rebuilding the whole like place where I work. So now I just pretty much do like mechanic stuff, like working on trucks and
Yeah.
weed eaters. So I went from like kitchen grease to like automotive grease.
Yeah. Your hands are just permanently covered in oil.
Yeah, they're like permanently stained just black.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I know a couple guys like that, you know. Their hands always smell weird. You don't want to get them close to your nose.
Yeah, it's weird. Like when I come home, like eat a little snack, has that little sweet taste of grease on there. You're like, ugh.
Yeah, it's got a little chemical taste.
Yeah.
Oh man, dude. Yeah, I remember like just because I'm out of the restaurant industry now too, but just like I had a couple shirts that like no matter how much I washed them or whatever, were so covered in like fryer oil and shit that if I literally like spilled the drink on myself, it would just like roll off and fall on the ground.
I remember I used to have to keep my kitchen shoes like outside my house.
Oh yeah.
So gnarly.
Dude, you know what's weird is I work in an office now and like I come home and my shoes fucking smell so bad and I'm like, I sat all day. Like I barely use these things. Like what the fuck, dude? It's like I'm just sitting there just like soaking up whatever. All of my sweat is just in my feet or something.
I got naturally sweaty feet. Like that's
Yeah.
where it all goes. And my
I don't know
work
what
boots-
happened. It was like this year I turned 27 and my feet smell really bad all of a sudden. It's just like an old man thing, I think. I don't know. Like you just your feet start smelling the closer you get to 30.
Yeah. Your nose
But-
grows, your ear grows, and your feet stink.
Yeah. Shit starts to get a little gray.
Yeah, that's in my mustache. I start getting like white and gray hairs in there.
I got a haircut recently, and when I looked at like the apron I had on, and there was like chunks of my hair in it. There was a couple white ones, and I was just like, you better chill on that, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. They tell you like the average life expectancy is like 100, but it's not. We're like basically at middle aged right now. Like the chance of getting past like 75 is pretty slim.
Yeah, I mean the way I lived my first, half of my life. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it took a few years. I think the restaurant life too just takes a few years off, dude.
For
I have the
sure.
body of a 50-year-old right now just from standing all day.
Yeah, that's how I feel. Like I'm just fucking sore and tired all the time. It sucks.
Yeah. Super bad arthritis in my hands.
Yeah.
Definitely from knives and spatulas and fryers and fryer baskets, all that shit.
Yeah, like I got carpal tunnel in my knuckles, and it's like when I'm constantly playing, it doesn't
Oh
bother
yeah.
me. But like the moment I take like a week off, it's like even today, it's like, man, it kills.
I get the hand cramp on my pick hand.
Yeah.
Like on my thumb, it'll lock up while we're playing, and I've gotten so good at just dropping my pick and playing with my fingers that I'm like hitting pitch harmonics with my fingers, like no pick at all. Like I can basically just like play finger style guitar with the electric, no problem, because I have to. Because on stage, I've literally had my hand just stop working, and I'm like, I guess I'm just gonna start slapping. Like it's the only
Yeah.
thing I can do.
It happens to me too, because like in Tidal Days, I play with the pick a lot, and
Yeah,
like I've never before that, like I can play with the pick, but I've never like really done it.
yeah,
So like a lot of the songs, like when we play a couple of them in a row, like my hands, like especially if I'm like dehydrated or something, start feeling it and cramping up. And then it goes from like my wrist moving to like my whole arm just like bashing down,
right,
trying to get through a song.
dude. Yeah. It's the worst. I'm afraid one day I'm just not gonna be able to play with a pick, and I'll just have to like play with my fingers because I just can't do it. Like my hands gonna cramp up too much.
Switch to playing like Toes and Abasi.
Yeah, dude. Maybe that's why he did it. He was like he played with pick at first, and he was just too fast, and he cramped up his hand so hard. He's like, I gotta figure out what to do here.
It's like I've been watching a lot of Victor Wooten.
Yeah, that's a good way to like just like make it like just to downplay how good Tosin Abasi is. Be like, dude, he only finger picks because he can't play with a pick, dude.
Yeah.
He just can't play with a
I
pick.
heard his hands cramp up.
Yeah, I heard his hands cramp up. That dude sucks. He can't alternate pick for shit, dude. That's why he finger picks.
Well, he just slaps.
He's probably never even played an arpeggio before. But yeah, dude, we're at like the 1 hour mark. So if you want to like plug Tidal Daze, plug any show dates you have for them, any show dates you have for the Resilient. I know you guys got the nonprofit if you want to plug that or whatever. If you want to send me the link to the nonprofit too, I'll put it in the show notes or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if we have a link up because it's still very new. Like we're planning on pretty much promoting the Reborn Project in, I think November. We're in Sag Harbor, New York, like headlining
Okay.
the music festival. Yeah, that's where we were planning on like officially like, this is our nonprofit up and running, but it's still all like super new. I'll see what I can dig up. And then yeah, I guess for Tidal Days, just check it out on Facebook, YouTube, Spotify. Same with the Resilient. We're on all those.
You guys got
Got
any
merch.
shows coming up?
The Resilient.
Or
So
Tidal Days. Did you already say Tidal Days' dates or no?
no, so right now we just finished on the 4th of July. We played a show. And then right now we're taking like a couple weeks off and going
Okay.
to officially like record a live album and release it within, I think in August is when we're planning on doing that, like mid-August. And then with the Resilient, we have a couple shows coming up in Columbus. Was it August 25th in Columbus, Ohio, and then we're back there at a different place in September on the 8th in Columbus, Ohio. And then I think our next shows are going to be, end of October, November, throughout New York, and then some in Florida. but we're still working on finalizing all those dates.
Word up. I got to come out for a Resilient show. If you guys are ever close enough to Buffalo, I mean, Columbus is close enough, I guess.
It depends on where you are, you know.
Yeah. Still like a 6-hour drive, but it's close.
Yeah, it's a hike for sure.
Are you guys playing with anybody cool in Columbus?
No, so a lot of those in the first show in August we're doing it's for a union, so it's like a big union gig,
Okay.
like a benefit thing. And then in September we're doing, because that's what the Resilient does. We do like a lot of shows for nonprofits and benefit shows and stuff like that. Pretty much just to get more people to come out and support whatever cause. But in September we just got kind of hooked up with the VA for veterans, so we're going to be putting on a show for one of the biggest VAs in Columbus, and hopefully throughout the next year or so we're going to be doing like a lot more of those kind of things, because our goal is to start setting up and doing like residencies where we go to a town or city for a week and a half, 2 weeks, and teach lessons, put on shows, do like table talks and clinics and stuff like that. And eventually with our nonprofit, we want to bring on, different artists that we call beacons. That's the term that we're using to, like, the Resilient is the first beacon in our nonprofit. And then we want to start building off, like, we know a couple like comedians and artists and stuff like that we want to eventually like add to the team and be able to put on these like huge events, for different nonprofits and good causes.
That's dope. Yeah. If you have any links or anything that, I know if you were saying that you guys are working on yours and all that, but if you have any like nonprofits you guys work with or anything that you want me to link in the show notes, just let me know. Send them over to me. I'll put them in there. But I'm gonna quickly plug my dates with my band. August 3rd, we're in Erie, Pennsylvania with Kawanashi and our friends in Bungler from Buffalo. And then August 29th, we're at the Rec Room with Born of Osiris and Upon a Burning Body. And then September 29th is going to be our EP release at Timeless Babes. I can't give any more information on that. I'm not going to tell you guys who else is playing with us because it's a surprise. But Erik, thank you for being on the podcast, dude. You were the first guest of all time, so you've christened it. Yeah, you've broken it in, dude. We've broken it in. We've broken the podcast in. And like we like to do on this podcast, we're gonna finish with a little jingle. Erik, give me a chord to start on.
A minor.
Oh, fuck. I gotta try and remember how to play A minor. Oh, there we go. We got it. We're good. All right, we got it. We sang. Whoop. Nope. We're going to start over. We talked about playing in bands and touring. We talked about the Resilient and Tidal Daze. I lost it, so we're just going to do like a little thing here.
You're good. I can't even hear the keyboard, so I'm just going off your singing.
We talked about the worst shows that we have ever played. We talked about wearing dresses and doing a lot of weird stuff on stage.
On the stage.
Too stupid with Jack.
Too stupid. stupid with Jer.
All right, dude. Thanks for being on the podcast, and yeah, I'll send over some clips, and I'll if you want to send over some links to some nonprofits and stuff, I'll make sure they're in the show notes and all that.
All right, cool, man.
Nice talking to you. We'll have to. You might be guest number 2. We'll see. There's not like a line, so.
Yeah, I'd be happy to do it again for sure.
Yeah, number 2 or number 3 at least. I think there's like one person in line after you, so. Yeah. Hey, dude, I'll catch you later though. I'll shoot you some text messages and stuff. We're gonna figure it out. We're gonna do a Squatch reunion show for sure.
Yeah, I'm down.
Yeah. Figure it out. We'll figure it out.
Figure it out, bud.
All right. Catch you later, dude.